that is about the bisection method. So now we are going to have today a new method, that is what we call the secant method. Secant method or odd method. First, let me explain the method. Okay. Then we will see. And okay. For example, the problem is seen. F of x is equal to 0. Find the solution. Find the approximate solution. Okay, f of x is equal to 0. We need to find out the approximate solution for this equation, which is same as the root of the function, root for the function f of x. Okay, anyway. So how does it work? What is the method? What is this method? So this method basically says, okay, assume that this is the function. Assume that this is the function, graph of the function. Let me have some another graph. Okay, so assume that this is 0, and assume that we have something here, a comma b. Let us have by the graph, what you can have, what you can say that this is the root. Okay, fine. Now what we are going to have, let us assume this is x0 and this is x1. If this is x0 and this is x1, so you look at the, you point out the its value. So this is the point P that is represented with x0 and with its output, that is f of x0. And this is x1. So again, this is what is the point Q x1 f of x1. That is the point. Okay. Now what we are going to have, actually join these two, where x0 and x1 are the assumptions, initial assumptions. Okay. Now what we are going to have, you join these two lines, sorry, these 2 points P and Q with a straight line, and extend the straight line till it meets or till it intersects the x-axis. Till it intersects the x-axis. Now here it comes. Here it comes. Why? Suppose why it is always intersect? What will happen if it is not intersecting? What is going to happen if the chord, if the line joining this P and Q does not intersects the x-axis? For example, you take this function. You take this function and maybe you take this function. Okay, this is the point, this one, and this is the other point, this one. Join these two lines and extend it, So what is going to happen? What is going to happen? This line will not intersect the x-axis. Okay, why? Because the value of this function at this point and the value of this function at this point both are same. This is x0 and this is x1. F of x0 is this one, and f of x1 is also having the same value. Okay. So for these kind of things, so which means that we have not the x0 and x1 is not assumed correctly. Okay. Fine. Now suppose assume that it intersects In fact, in this case, we cannot proceed. We cannot proceed further. We cannot proceed further. Okay. We need to change the initial points x0 and x1. Okay, anyway. Now, you take this one. What is going to happen? Yeah, this one. You extend it. So it meets the point here, the x-axis here. So call it x2. Now what you do? Once you find out the x2, then again from this point you again join. You find out the point here. Okay. Yes. Now what you do from the previous point q x1 comma f of x1. Let me represent with r x2 comma f of x2. This is the point on the curve. Now what you do? You join these 2 points along with the straight line. Along a straight line and extend it till it meets the x-axis. Once we reach the x-axis, call it x3 and again you go back to the function value. Now what you do again, you do the same thing, same process. Okay. Suppose here, this is what we are going to. So basically what we are going to, initially we have 2 approximations, initial approximations x0 and x1. Then we have find out x2. Now based on the x2 and x1, we have find out x3. And in the next step, based on the x2 and x3, we are going to find out x4. So basically the iteration point xk plus 1 is depending on the xk and its previous iteration. 2 iteration points we are going to do. Okay. So now what is the formula? What is the formula? How to get this formula formula for the xk plus 1? That is we are going to see this one. So let us assume that p at any maybe in the kth iteration, let us assume that xk minus 1 comma f of xk minus 1 and q xk comma f of xk are the 2 points on the curve. 2 points on the curve. Now, what is the line segment? What is the equation of the straight line passing through these 2 lines? And here, what we should be remember here, f of xk minus 1 should be not equal to f of xk. Why? Because if both of them are same, then we are not going to have any intersection with the x-axis. Okay, so fine. And the next thing is what? So basically, if you assume functions which are 1, 1, in the domain where we are checking for the root, then this function, there will be no problem for this kind of things will not happen. Okay, and of course, in the initially we should start with 2 different approximations, not with the same approximation. Okay. Now, what is the straight line passing through these 2 points? That is y minus y1 upon y2 minus y1 is equal to x minus x1 upon x2 minus x1. x2 minus x1. Right? Okay. This is the equation of the straight line. This is what? This is the equation of the straight line. Okay. Maybe in the first case, this is the equation. In the second case, maybe this will be the equation. Okay. Now, how to find the next iteration point, next point? This equation should meet x-axis. Intersect with x-axis. Intersecting with x-axis means what? On x-axis, y value will become 0. That is, y has to be 0. We need to find out the next iteration point, right? So if y is 0, then what will happen? So x is equal to, bring this term to this side. So what we'll have? Minus f of xk times xk minus 1 minus xk upon f at xk minus 1 minus f at xk, right? And now this one is there, minus xk is there, right? So minus xk is there, so bring that one to this side. So what we will be having, we'll be having plus xk plus xk. Okay, so to so when the straight line meets the point y is meets the x-axis, that is y is equal to 0. So the x value has to be this one, and this is nothing but our next iteration point. So that is xk plus 1. So xk plus 1 is equal to, you write it in a modification manner, just manipulate something here, minus xk minus 1 upon f at xk minus f at xk minus 1 times f at xk. Okay, so in the previously we have said in the iteration, general explanation for the iteration method. So xk plus 1 is equal to phi of xk comma xk minus 1. So basically this is a 2-point iteration method. This is a 2-point iteration method. Why? Because for every iteration, in every iteration, we are going to use the earlier 2 approximations, previous 2 approximations. Okay, this is what the 2-point iteration method. Secant method is a 2-point iteration method, and this is true for all k is equal to 0, 1, 2, and so on. Not k is equal to 0, k is equal to 1, 2, 3, and so on. Okay, right. So this is how we are going to get this one. And what about the stopping criteria? What about the stopping criteria? The stopping criteria is same. That is, suppose if maybe the number of iterations, if you want to go for the number of iterations, you can stop it. Suppose, but if the error tolerance is epsilon given, then there are 3 different ways to stop the algorithm, stop the process. That is, the modulus of f of xk is less than epsilon. Modulus of f of xk is less than epsilon, then stop it. This can be the one stopping criteria. Why? Because here epsilon can be as small as possible. Here epsilon is what? Epsilon can be, if you take 10 to the power minus 1, what is this f of xk value? F of xk value is less than the 0.1. F of xk value is less than the 0.1, and of course bigger than the minus 0.1, which means, but what is the, so basically, so what I can write, f of xk is approximately equal to either 0.1 or this side approximately it may be equal to minus 0.1. So I can consider it as 0, and I can also consider it as 0, right? Because my error tolerance is 0.1, so I'll be happy. So xk is the approximate root with the error tolerance 0.1, or else the difference between the successive approximations values xk and xk minus 1 is less than epsilon. Okay, or maybe one more thing here, xk minus y naught is less than epsilon, where y naught is the exact root. Exact root. It is practically, it is no meaning. If you know the exact root, then why we are going for the approximate solutions? Okay, but mathematically, for the sake of problems, exact root will be given to you. Now I will ask you, find the approximate solution, kth approximate solution, so that the difference between the approximate solution and the exact root is within the error tolerance. Okay, so this is what we call the secant method, and with the help of the secant method, we can will get the solution of a one variable equation. Here, yes, the question arises. What's the question arises here? The question is whether this method always converges. Means whatever the sequence of points we are getting here, approximate solutions we are getting here, whether this will reach to the exact solution. Okay, it may not be. It may not be. It may not converge. Okay, so it may not converge depending, it completely depends on the initial approximations we have chosen, x0 and x1. Suppose if you choose the points x0 and x1 far actually better, far away from the exact route, then the method may not converge. The method may not converge. Okay. But suppose if it converges, it will converge faster than the bisection method. Okay, anyway, so that is one thing about this method. Now let me explain one more method, then we will go for the problem. So the next method is Regula-Falsi method. What about this method? In the previous method, if you observe, in the secant method, we are not worrying about the sign of the function values at the points. If you remember, f of x1 and f of x2, we are not bothering about them. We are not bothering about f of x1 and f of x2. Okay, even if both of them are same, okay, no problem. You joined both the points with this line segment, extend the line segment so that it meets the x-axis. From there, you get the another point, another approximation. Okay. So, but in the Regula-Falsi method also, it is exactly same as the secant method only. But the only condition that we are going to start with the two initial approximations. We must choose, or assume x0 and x1 are the two initial approximations to the function f of x is equal to 0, approximate solutions, okay, to the function f of x is equal to 0, such that f at x0 and f at x1 is less than 0. In the previous secant method, we are not emphasizing this one. But in the Regula-Falsi method, we are including this one also. Why? In the secant method, we are not using the intermediate value theorem. We are not using it. Why? Because we are not bothering about the sign of the function values. Okay, so that is the reason the method may not converge sometimes. The secant method may not converge sometimes. But in the Regula-Falsi method, we are emphasizing this one. What is this one? The function values must be opposite to the, should have opposite sign. Okay. Now, in this case, what we are going to do? In this case also, we are going to do the same process that we have done for the secant method. For example, you take the same function. You take the same function, same graph. This is 0. You take the 2 points here. So say this is x1 p, and this is q corresponding point. Join these two line segments, extend it, we have got this one here. This is x0, this is x1, this is x2. Now we have another point, and from there now we have joined this one and extended it, and then we obtained this is x3. We have obtained another one, and then again we have extended. So this is how we got it in the secant method. But in the secant method, but in the regular Falsy method, this x1 and x0 should be chosen such a way that the function values are the opposite ones. So that is, again, let me draw this one. This is 0. This is y is equal to f of x. This is the exact root, as you can see from the graphical method. So let us have, this is the initial one approximation, and this is the another approximation, x1. Now, as you can see that here, this is f of x1, which is positive, and this is f of x2, that is negative. Okay. Now, what is going to happen now? What we need to do? We need to join these two lines. Okay, join in a straight line. Now, wherever it intersects, we are obtaining the another point. And then from this point, what is the function value at this point? That is f of x2. Now, which one we should go for? x1, x2 or x2, x0? Any guess? Any guess? What we should do? What is the next interval in the from the graphic, from the geometry, from the graph of the function? x2 and x0. Why? Because f at x2 is negative and f at x0 is positive. If you look at, if you consider this interval, then we are not going to get the root. Why? Because here, as you can see, both are having same sign. So that may not leads to the root. Okay. So for the next interval, in the next iteration, the domain is from x2 to x0. One is minus and one is plus. So we can go for it. Okay. Now this is the point. Now in this iteration, then what we need to do? Now again, fix this one. We again join this one. Again, this is the point x3, and x3 is always again negative. So this is f at x3. f at x3, right? So f at x3 is also negative. For the next one, what about the interval? x3 to x0. This is the interval. These 2 points we should consider. Okay. And again, join this one. This is the x4, and again from x4 to x0. Okay. So this is how we need to continue the process, continue the iterations. It is little different from the regular secant method, but because of the additional assumption. What is the additional assumption? We are going to start with the two initial approximations with having two different different signs. So because of that reason, this method is going to converge definitely. Means the sequence of approximate solutions, whatever we have considered, that will definitely converge to the exact root if we do the infinite number of iterations. Okay. But manually, practically, that's not going to happen. That is not going to happen. So what we have to do? We have to okay. Now, one more thing, as you can see from this, from the explanation here, the number of iterations we have performed. In all the iterations, the initial approximation x0 remains unchanged. Remains unchanged. Okay. So basically, what is going to happen in all the iterations? One of the initial approximations will be remain. One of the initial approximations will be either x0 or x1. One of them will be fixed in all the iterations. Only one of the endpoint of the interval only going to change. Okay. Right. Now let us do some exercise. As yesterday I have given one problem that find the solution for the equation x into e to the power x minus 1 is equal to 0. I think the interval I have given is 0 to 1 because I asked you to do the using the bisection method. Whether anyone solved this problem? Whether anyone solved this problem? Okay. Vigneshwar said 0.59375. Vigneshwar, may I know how many iterations you took to get this value? 0.59375. As Vigneshwar, I'm not repeating. I'm repeating again. In all the problems, we are going to give the solution rounded up to the 4 digits, 4 decimal places only. So according to you, 59375. We need the approximation up to 4 decimals only. It is 5. So it should be what will happen, and this is also it depends on this one. It is an odd number, so whether it is unchanged or whether it will be increased by 1. Who will tell me? Whether it is unchanged or whether it is increased by 1. Approximation we have done, I have explained, right? The rounded off methods. Since it is odd number, the nth digit, should be increased by 1, and hence it should be 8. Okay, right. Now let us do the same problem using the secant method and at the same time using the regular falsy method. Okay, I hope everyone ready with the calculators. So let me start the problem. Same problem. Now this time the interval is okay. Let us go with the 0, 1 only, or shall we go with the 0, 1? Okay, do it for the interval. Same problem. Secant method. Interval. Sorry, now in the secant method we are not interested in the interval, right? Interval should not be there. Here x0 initial approximation is 0.5 and x1 the another initial approximation is 1. Okay, x0 is 0.5 and x1 is 1. Then, so let me. So in all these methods, what you do better you have a table. Okay, better you have a table. This is k is equal to 0, k is equal to 1, xk is given, x0 is 0.5, x1 is 1. Now we need to evaluate for k is equal to 2. That is what we need to evaluate. What is the formula here? Xk plus 1 is equal to xk minus xk minus 1 upon f at xk minus f at xk minus 1 times f at xk. I think so. Am I right? Now, so we also need f at xk. So f at 0.5. What is f at 0.5? F at 0.5 is what? Minus 0.1756. And f at x1 is what? E power 1 minus 1. So that is 1.178. 1.178. 4 digits, right? So 3. So now substitute all these values here and give me what is k is equal to 2, x2. Can you give me what is x2? What is x2, man? So how to evaluate x2? Substitute k is equal to 1 here. So x2 is equal to x1. x1 is 1 minus xk minus xk minus 1. So that is 0.5 upon f at xk minus f at xk minus 1. This one minus this one. So I think something like 1. So it will become plus. So 1.35 39 times f at xk. F at xk is 1.1783. So xk is 0.5648. Okay. Now what about f at xk? See, one thing, if you are not participating in the class, then I will explain the theory and I will leave all the problems to you. If you are not interested in the problems, well and good. As being the course is itself is a theoretical course. So my job is to explain the theory, then the problems, then doing the problems. It is not that only if 2-3 people are doing and remaining all are sitting back. Abhinav said minus 0.0065. Minus 0.0065. So yeah, what you can see, the error is here xk minus x2 minus x1. Here error you need to find out E2. Yeah, Sharon, that is 0.0646. Okay, you find out x3 also. What is x3 and what is f of x3? As you can see it here in this iteration itself, the modulus of f of x2, that is equal to 0.06. It is strictly less than the 0.1. So if the error tolerance is given to be epsilon is equal to 10 to the power minus 1, and this is the condition that we required. So as you can stop it, and you can say that the approximate solution is 0.5648. 0.5648. The lesser the error tolerance, the accuracy will be high. The lesser the error tolerance, the accuracy will be high. X3 is, Abhinav said X3 is 0.5672. 0.5672. F of x3 is 0.0002. So as you can see, f of x3 is much closer to 0. In fact, it is closer, the error tolerance is 10 to the power minus 3, as also it will work. So I think after this step, we can suppose even if the epsilon is equal to 10 to the power minus 2 or 10 to the power minus 3, you can stop the iteration process at k is equal to 3. Okay. So now let us do the same process. Let us solve the same problem using the Regula-Falsy method. So again, f of x is equal to x into e to the power x minus 1. So k 0, 1, xk is 0.5, x1 is 1, k is equal to 2, and f at xk is f at 0.5. F at 0.5 is minus 0.1756, and f at 1 is 1.17183. Sorry, 1.7183. 1.7183. Now, as you can see it here, this is less than 0 and this is greater than 0. In the secant method, we no need to worry about the sign of the function values, but in the regular false method, we should. Okay. Now, x is equal to 2. What is x2? Whether will there be any change in the x2? Will there be any change in the x2? I think better we write the some more. In the regular falsy method, better we write the interval also. Ik. So here, this is the initial. Both are initial guess only. So x2 is evaluated both on this condition, and in here the interval is 0.5 to 1. 0.5 to 1. Now, what about the x2? In this iteration, what is the x2? x2 is 0.5464. And of course, the last column will be there to find the error. xk minus 1. Okay. So x2 minus x1. x2 minus x1 will be what? 0.45. 0.4536. Now, can you give me what is f at x2? Can you give me what is f at x2? Minus 0. By the way, in the regular falsy method also, the formula is same only, right? The regular falsy method also, the formula is same only, right? Xk plus 1 is equal to xk minus xk minus 1 upon f at xk minus f at xk minus 1 times f at xk. So as I'm calculating here, I got something around minus 0.0564. I got it. Yeah. Right. Now you look at here. This is negative. This is negative. Now here in the third iteration, what will be the interval that we should work? What are the two things we should work? It is not exactly the previous two. If it is only the previous two, that is a secant method in general. Okay, but here the points, the 2 points will be decided based on the function values. First thing, it will be there. This is less than 0. So in the previously, what we need to check? We need to check which one is less than 0 and which one is bigger than 0. Now you see it here. We cannot take x0 here. Why? Because f at x0 is also negative and f at x2 is also negative. What we should go for? We should go for again with 1. With 1 only we should go for it. Okay. Okay, right. So that is now xk is here. 0.5464 comma, what is xk here? 1. So now with the help of these 2 points, what is the x4? What is the x3? What is the x3? Give me what is the x3 here? Give me what is the x3 here? I think we will get something like 0.5608. Now what about f at this x3? F at this point. F at this point is somehow minus 0.0175. 0.0175. This is also less than 0. This is also less than 0. Yes, you can also find the difference here. The difference between these 2 points will be, I think, 0.0 absolute difference. 0.01. So 8 minus 4, so that is 4. Again 4, 1, 0. Yeah, this is the error. One thing, if the error tolerance is 10 to the power minus 1, the error is already less than 10 to the power minus 1. So we can stop it here. But if the error tolerance is much lesser, we have to go for the another iteration also. I suggest you go for the 2 more iterations to understand the method first thing. Now, when k is equal to 4, previously in the secant method, without doing anything, we used to consider only the previous 2, right? Only these 2. Means this is 1 point, and this is another point, and this value, we use it and we will go for it to evaluate the next iteration. But in the regular falsy method, this is not what we are going to use it now. So first point will be here 0.5608, it will be there. And not what about the another one? It is not this one. Why? Because the value of f at this point is minus 0.0175, which is less than 0. And what we have to go for? The previous one, which is bigger than 0. Positive, that is x1. So the value is 1. That is what I said. In the regular falsy method, one of the endpoint of the intervals is always fixed in all the iterations. So that is 1, 1, 1. So 1 is the one of, so not that one, this one. This one is always fixed here. In some other problem, maybe 0 point might be fixed for all the iterations. Okay. Now for this one also you evaluate. Now this is 1 point and this is another point. Now you give me the what is xk plus 1. Okay, anyway, now you continue for 2 more iterations, at least do the up to fifth iteration, and you give me the solution. You give me the approximate solution in the next class. So I will stop the section here. If you have any doubts, You are welcome. Thank you all.